Welcome back to the channel, folks, and in this video today we're going to discuss the 5 top negative things about the Pimax Crystal Super Micro-OLED Optical Engine, because of course with this channel you get all of the information, whether it's good or bad. And with this optical engine, well, it's bloody amazing. It really is, but it's not perfect. So just to say before we get going that this video is proudly sponsored by Stormforce, and every video you see on this channel is by one of those computers. In fact, I'm using a powered by MSI RTX 5090 machine, which you can get £200 off, but there's also a Black Friday deal going on right now with Stormforce. You can get up to £1,200 off a range of gaming PCs, which is pretty damn crazy. They also have a very nifty configurator tool, which you can basically customize your PC to get the very specs that you want. And I really do like how they've got that now on their website. I am a massive fan of Stormforce, folks, and I'm saying that through years of experience using their PC systems. And I know a lot of you out there are now rocking Stormforce computers. There is a 10% discount off as well using the configurator, so I'd highly urge check out the link below. You might be able to get a fantastic deal on a brand new flight sim PC. So what's the first thing that is the negative about this headset? And I'm not going to do this in any particular order because it might be a different order for you in terms of importance, because we're all different, of course, when it comes to our VR preferences. But I will say the pancake lenses, while they are absolutely really good, very impressive, they've done a great job, there is still a little bit of glare there. And in certain scenes, for example this scene right now, you would expect me to see glare. I'm not seeing any glare, but sometimes you will see it a little bit, and if you hate even the most slightest bit of glare, then maybe this isn't for you. Number 2 is the field of view. That's of course an obvious one. Micro-OLED, it's just not at a point at the moment where you get really wide field of view at the moment. That's something we might get in probably 3 years time or more. You know, we might get those really wide OLED panels, but that's not a thing for a while yet, so don't expect anything in the very near future to rival this in terms of field of view. Now I am actually testing the pre-production model, which is 108 degrees field of view. It actually feels really nice. No complaints from me, but I'm not a massive field of view guy. The Dream Air, which I tested, I did test 112 degrees field of view, and it did feel pretty good. So even though field of view is a negative, if you compare this to any other micro-OLED pancake lens VR headset, it beats them all anyway. Number 3 is color fringing. It is a thing with this headset, and in certain scenarios, I can't see it at all at the moment, but say on a plain white background is an obvious one, you will see a bit of brown tinting on the far outer edges of the display. That is inherent with micro-OLED technology, and that is a trade-off. I think most of them have it. I don't think I've seen it in the Mega Nex though, weirdly, but that could be down to the pancake lenses. Funny enough, the better the optics, the more imperfections you see. So it could be down to that, ironically. But in any case, it's not an issue for me. But again, if that is something that really you can't stand, that like literally 2% of the display sort of being a bit brownish, or perhaps if you're not quite in the center sweet spot, say you've got the headset on a bit crooked, the colors might just look a little bit off. That's again a thing with micro-OLED, so keep that in mind. Number 4 is really the cost of micro-OLED right now is a lot of money. You know, you have to appreciate, folks, this is not, you know, up against the Valve Steam Frame or Quest 3 or even, you know, other headsets in the Pimax range. This is top tier Sony 4K OLED. We're talking big bucks here, and they are expensive to make, and the yield rate when it comes to dead pixels and throwing out displays is massively high for Sony. They only pick the best of the best, and it really shows, but that also means they are very expensive. I will stick that in as a negative, but that's just the way it is, folks. Once you try this module, you'll realize why it's so expensive, because it just looks absolutely friggin' amazing. Like now, seeing that beautiful, the sun casting its light down onto the ground a little bit and through the cloud layer there. It probably looks absolutely crap on the VR recording, but in the headset, it's so warm. The colors are beautiful, and things like these yolks, the deep, rich colors. You can see the sort of polished aluminium, the metals, the rubber, you know, the plastics, the different colors of these displays. It all pops out amazingly well. Sorry, I'm trying to talk about negatives here, but I'm getting carried away. So yeah, that's another negative anyway. One more negative is the heat that these displays kick out. It's not uncomfortable or anything like that, but it does get a bit warm in the headset. That's something though that I think Pimax could actually look into in terms of the firmware, and also maybe allow a fan setting in the software so you could overdrive the fan, because that's what big screen do, because these displays do run very hot. They are 4K after all, but it's in no means a distraction for me. I've now been flying, wow, for nearly 3 hours, and I feel totally fine. Just make sure you keep cool yourself, and I think you'll be okay. And the last negative is the brightness. And interestingly, with a micro OLED display, this sort of scene here, when you've got dark areas and bright areas, that can actually make things feel very bright because of the contrast, which is far greater with OLED panels. You know, the dark and the light, there is a huge difference. It's not so uniform as it is with the LCD panel. So there is times where it actually does feel as bright. And this is a very good example right now, funny enough. But say in a bright summer day, you know, say if we were just flying in a really bright summer day, it doesn't feel as bright, in fact nowhere near really, as something like a Somnium VR1, which you really almost feel the heat of the sun. You know, it kind of tricks your brain a little bit because you really do feel and see the light of the sun coming down on you, you know. So again, if that's something that's very important to you, then yeah, this might not be for you. And that will do, folks. That's my top, I think it was 6 negatives of the Micro OLED module. It's not all good news, folks, but let me tell you, I personally feel for flight simulation, especially the OLED visuals with the sharpness, the optics, and the lack of mirror and the crispiness of the display, it's just, for me, absolutely friggin' mind-blowing, and those trade-offs are worth it for me. But if they're not for you, maybe look at the QLED variants of the Crystal Super range, or maybe another headset such as the Somnium VR1. Anyway, folks, that will do for now. I've got to land, I'm 1 minute away and I'm far too high, so I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching, and take care.